I think it is the best year ever.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Listography. Jason, Joe, and Crams are here. Songs of the year 1973, the series in which we each choose our favorite songs from the year. We do that by selecting 5 tracks from the Billboard Hot 100, 5 tracks from anywhere else. Could have also charted, could be deep cuts, soundtracks, anything at all. We also select our least favorite top 40 song of the year. So 73, I feel like was a pretty sizable step down. But at the same time, I know what's coming, and I feel like you guys don't think it's a step down? You think it's better than 72?
You can't read our faces by now? We've been doing this show for a year and a half. No, it's not a step down. You have 2 of the greatest albums ever that came out this year. At least Joe and I are on, like, come on, dude, come on. What happened? Todd Rundgren and Ian Hunter not put out a Little Precious album this year?
They both did. It's still a step down.
I don't know. I thought the Billboard had a lot of really good classic rock songs on it and some good pop hits. But just from the album selection alone, I thought it was loaded.
I'm not saying it's a bad year. I'm saying it's a step down. Still one of the 5 years of my favorite 5 years in history. So, but it's not as good as 71 or 72.
I think it is the best year ever, probably. Yeah. I think it's better than 71, better than 72, more diversity. The best is at least in, like, I don't know, album cuts, because I have like 5 of my favorite albums of all time. Like I could pick just from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and get 10 songs probably.
All right. Cram went first in the last video, right? Who wants to do it this time?
I'll go. I don't care. Okay. Big year. There's so many good songs that charted. So many, not maybe in the like very top. If you look at like the year-end Billboard 100, I mean, there's plenty of good stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that kind of like didn't chart as well as people thought. Speaking of, my number 5 is going to be My Old School from Steely Dan, which didn't chart nearly as well. It's kind of disappointment compared to everything off Can't Buy a Thrill, but there's no disappointment in this song because it's phenomenal jazz rock, great story lyrics. Number 4, it's interesting, like songs sometimes, like the circumstance of how it happened can affect how much I like it. And this one, like, I know it's a good song, but I don't know if I would like it quite as much. I got Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. Like, it's just super pretty, and it's really sad considering he died like right before the album came out. This one went to number 1 posthumously, which is one of like 3 or 4 tracks that ever did that. And it's just like a really kind of sad, affecting song, and I just always really liked it. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Alice Cooper's. He has a couple, and it's wild to me that like a bunch of his tracks charted because he just seems like such an alien even back in the 70s. But my favorite is going to be Hello Hooray, which was written by like some guy, and Judy Collins covered it. Like her version is like this super folky, like Joni Mitchell-esque. And Alice Cooper's is just so crazy. Like it sounds like it's from a different universe. I love his theatricality. I love the way he like hisses his S's, and like his T's are so sharp. Just a really great vocal performance, great band performance in general. Number 2, got to go with some baby making music. Let's Get It On, Marvin Gaye. Just a great performance, great vocals. Love the drums on this. The rhythm section is really awesome, of course. And my number 1, it charted very lowly, but I think it's great, and you can still hear it on any classic rock radio station today. My favorite The Who song, I got Love Rain or Me. Just think it's one of the best vocal performances by a male rock star ever. Just incredible vocals. And it's my favorite pick slide ever at the very end when it just like comes out of nowhere and just so cool, so majestic a track. Love it. My runner-up for 1973 was very close between Quadrophenia and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, but this gets the top spot on my Billboard, so just as good, right?
All right. Very good lists. I couldn't get anything from Quadrophenia, and not just because I think of Quadrophenia as like just a whole encompassing album. I just couldn't fit anything. I mean, they're a killer. The Real Me, Love Rain or Me, like there's plenty of just little things you can pick from Quadrophenia. But oh man, my boy Joe, we always share something from the Billboard, which is why we're like this. I've also got My Old School. I believe it was my number one Steely Dan song, a couple of killer guitar solos on it. It's got the great horn section. It's just phenomenal. I've also got a song that I used to not really care for at all. And I even said so out loud, embarrassingly so, in the Bob Dylan video, but now I love it. And this is really just because of some commenters being like, what? How can you not like that song or think it's overrated? And I almost never buy into our commenters' peer pressure, but I was like, yeah, what am I missing with this? Everyone loves this. But it's Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan. I do absolutely adore it now. I think it's so simple and brilliantly haunting. I think maybe that's because it's so simple that I used to just be like, well, I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. But just some of the weight that some of the simple lyrics, like Mo, take this badge off of me, like I can't use it anymore. So good. And the background noise and everything and the background playing is just so great. I've also got Paul Simon with Kodachrome. I love it. I think it is, admittingly, I don't know Paul Simon's entire discography as well as I should, being a big Simon and Garfunkel fan. But this has always been easily my favorite Paul Simon solo song. I love it. I think it's got tremendous momentum to it. It's got just really cool, kind of obscure lyrics to it, but he has such great wordplay and brings everything down to earth. Like it has an all-encompassing, wholesome, like down to earth Americana sound. But when you really nitpick some of the lyrics and the imagery and the wordplay, it's very unique. I love it. I've also got, brace yourself, Jason. You put this as one of your more overrated songs ever. And I can't believe this didn't chart till 73. Rolling Stones, You Can't Always Get What You Want. There are some live versions of this that I prefer to the album cut, but I still really like it. I think it's a brilliant song. I think it opens tremendously with the French horn. And I saw her one day at the reception line. I think it's great. And then I think it's just got a great camaraderie, bar rock kind of feel to the sing-along nature of it. It's great. And then my final Billboard song is the classic. I don't even know if this song may show up again later on billboards, but it's Killing Me Softly by Roberta Flack. It may come up again in the 90s, or was it early 2000s? Somewhere around that, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is a tremendous song. There's a reason why it's been covered so many times, and there's not really a bad version of it, but I do think this version is incredible. Even Ed Sheeran could probably cover this, and it would be his best song by a long shot. It would be the worst version of this song, but it would be his best version. We need to do a video on how bad Ed Sheeran is, but yeah, Killing Me Softly, Kodachrome, Can't Always Get What You Want, Knocking on Heaven's Door, and My Old School are my 5 Billboarders. So that's what I've got. Jason, what you got, bud?
All right. So I feel like we got a little bit more in common this year than we have in the last couple of years. I've got one in common with each of you, and we almost had a three-peat. One of my last cuts from my list was My Old School. Number 5 is going to be Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. This was the second single from the album after Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. This one performed a little better on the charts. It was his third number 1 song of the year in Canada, but in the US it stalled out at number 2, kept out of the top spot by Top of the World by the Carpenters and The Most Beautiful Girl in the World by Charlie Rich. But just an amazing song. I love the kind of soaring melodies are amazing, and his rhythm section, so good. Dee Murray and Nigel Olsson, so underrated, amazing players. Then the one that I have in common with Joe, I've got Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye. This is the only Marvin Gaye album that I own. It's right back there somewhere. One of my favorite sounding albums of all time. I think it is so well recorded. The groove on this record is killer. The horns and the strings are perfect. The wah guitar, amazing vocal performance, and the mix is impeccable. All right, next I got one in common with Cram. Kodachrome by Paul Simon. This track also peaked at number 2 on the Billboard charts, left out of the top spot by Billy Preston, Will It Go Round in Circles. But like Cram, I think the feel of this song is great. It's got that like percussion thing in the background. I don't know exactly what it is, like a woodblock or something, but it's got like that kind of galloping feel to it, which is awesome. It also has the line in it where he says everything looks worse in black and white, but in live versions, sometimes he sings everything looks better in black and white. And he said it's because he can't remember the way that he originally wrote it, so he just changes it every time, which I think is kind of cool and kind of funny. Next pick is going to be Mind Games by John Lennon. Great song. Started working on it back in '69. It's got David Spinoza on guitar, who played on some early McCartney solo stuff. Also has the great Jim Keltner on drums. It was recorded during his 18-month lost weekend where he was separated from Yoko. But really cool song. I love the Mellotron on it. My final Billboard pick is going to be My Love by Paul McCartney. I think it is one of the best love songs ever written. People rag on McCartney sometimes for getting a little over sentimental, but I think those people are just emotionally stunted people who are afraid to let themselves feel emotion. I think this song is great. The guitar solo from Henry McCulloch is killer. Even Henry McCulloch has said that it is his best guitar solo that he ever played. So those are my picks.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Lipschitz. Jeez.
Wild card time. All right. Wild card was tough. I have a whole heap load of songs that would have made my top 10 probably. I don't know. It's tough. We should have probably just done a top 10 list, but we're stuck with this format now. So I got to do my 5. Well, 4. I'll save the number 1 for the winner's circle. Number 5, going back to Stevie Boy from Intervisions. I got He's Mr. Know-It-All, one of my favoriteest Stevie Wonder tracks. Just a long melodic screed about how much Richard Nixon sucks. So it's topical and it's got a great melody, great performance. Number 4, gotta get some Zeppelin on here. I got Rain Song. It was written because George Harrison said they didn't do love songs, ballads. So they're like, all right, take this, George Harrison. They wrote Rain Song, super pretty, just kind of unfolds. Like it's real slow building, slow momentum, but then when it all comes together, just phenomenal. Number 3, going some Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath to be exact. Favorite Sabbath song, just brutally hard, incredible riffs all over the place. There's a bunch of tracks from that album, favorite Sabbath album. Could have been on here, but go with Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, because it's tough because I have to go back and like look sometimes to see which song was like my number 1. And like if it's wrong, I'll change it. But for the most part, I stick with what I had. So Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath is a winner there. Number 2, if people knew how much I didn't love this album, they'd burn me in effigy and throw trash on my lawn. And it'll come out eventually. And this will give you a hint. Little track from Genesis from Selling England by the Pound is the album in question, which, I don't know, we'll get to that some other day. But one track from it I do absolutely worship, and that is Firth of Fifth. No, Fifth of Firth? No, Firth of Fifth. You shouldn't have put those 2 words so close together. Doesn't make any sense. But I love this song. It's incredible. The piano from Tony Banks, incredible. It feels like an actual classical. Like usually when rock stars try to write like a classical inspired piece, you can kind of tell that it's like, okay, well, it's a take on classical. This one like feels like a real like Beethoven or Mozart in that intro, and a really great guitar solo by Steve Hackett as well. And I think it's just really great all the way through. Maybe my favorite Genesis song. We'll get to that someday, but not my favorite Genesis album, that's for sure.
Wasn't Tony Banks a backup quarterback for the Rams in the 90s?
I think so.
Yeah, we if you just watched the Yes video, I think there's a clip somewhere in that 7.5 hour footage that we took, for God's sakes, of me saying that we'll probably get around to doing a Genesis remaster. So it will be good to get where you stand on those albums. No prog for me, except unless you pick Pink Floyd as prog, which I do. I got a couple tracks of Dark Side here. I've got Time. You got to have Time on there. It's a fantastic track. It's got that brilliant percussive opening. The sound of Gilmour's guitar throughout is great. I really think Gilmour's vocals are the best found on this album, and among these tracks, it's one of my favorite lyrical songs they do. It's kind of a straight rocker with just really good expansive parts to it. I love it. Then I've also got my favorite Pink Floyd song, Us and Them. It's got that waltz beat, jazzy, just beautiful piano in the later part of it. The sax is tremendous. The explosion into the chorus, absolutely gorgeous. Great shout for Mind Games, Jason. Really wanted to get that on there, but I actually elected to go from the same album with the closer, Meat City by John Lennon. A really cool kind of raunchy rocker to close it off. It's got great kind of like just simple little, more complex than you think, little blues picky kind of raunchy lick to it. And the way they mix his vocals on this album is so cool. He sounds so kind of like dirty and brash. I love it. And then I've also got from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, I've got Candle in the Wind. Some people could probably argue that it's over the top and a little bit bombastic, a little bit sappy, but love Elton. I think he walks that line perfectly. I think it's a beautiful kind of homage to Marilyn Monroe. I love the guitar in it. I love the melody. I love the piano. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous song. And my number one song is a deep cut, so I will reveal that later.
All right, my wild cards. I have got Sad Songs and Waltzes by Willie Nelson. I think it's just that brilliant lyric. If you don't know the song, he's writing about how some woman has done him wrong, cheated on him. And he's going to tell the whole world about it in this song, but he also kind of lets her know that she doesn't need to worry because Sad Songs and Waltzes aren't selling this year. So good. Then I got Sometimes I Don't Know What to Feel by Todd Rundgren, one of the more straightforward songs on A Wizard, a True Star. It's got this really unique kind of off-kilter R&B groove, gives a great soulful vocal performance on it. I've got Doolin Dalton by the Eagles, opening track from Desperado. I think it really opens up the record and sets up the Western kind of outlaw themes. The song was written by Henley, Fry, J.D. Souther, and Jackson Brown, and I think the harmony singing on it is fantastic. Then I've got a track from my album of the year, I Hope That I Don't Fall in Love with You by Tom Waits. Again, another example of brilliant writing. That line, you realize as the listener, like by the time he's thinking that in his head, it's already too late and the guy's done for. Just think it's such clever writing. But yeah, I'll save my last one, my winner, for a little bit later. Before that, we've got to get to the worst songs of 1973.
Well, the worst song will be coming up shortly, but the worst pick I've heard on this series is Doolin Dalton. I mean, it's one of the best Eagles songs, but that's like saying the best burger in New York City is the mushroom Swiss at Hardee's. Like, come on, dude, get real.
There's nothing wrong with the Eagles, but it's the completely wrong pick from Desperado. Desperado is the correct pick. That narrowly missed. I really wanted to put it on there because it's a 10. It's a 10 out of 10. I had to leave it off with, a bunch of Pink Floyd and a bunch of Elton John songs and all sorts of stuff. So didn't get to make it. My worst song of the year has got to be the horrendous Drift Away from Dobie Gray. Hate that song. I hate it even more since Uncle Cracker covered it. And I hate the original. So just feels really just overly cheesy, and it's just always annoyed me. There's a couple, almost one with Steelers Wheel, Stuck in the Middle with You. But I think Dobie Gray takes it this year. And again, people always question my worst of picks, but I'm picking songs that people remember and people still know. Like you could just pick the Osmonds pretty much every year throughout the 70s, but I hear this song all the time and I hate it and makes me want to kill myself. So my worst of the year, Dobie Gray, Drift Away.
That's fine. I was kind of in the same mechanism you were, picking songs everyone loved that I couldn't stand until we got to the Osmonds when there was just no denying it. But I'm back in your camp. I'm going to go with a song that everyone really loves. I'm going with Big Bad Leroy Brown. I hate it. I hate songs that are pretty much just lists of things, and that song is kind of this. They just list things about him. He's got an El Dorado. He likes diamond rings, likes fancy clothes, but and then he's Big Bad Leroy Brown. It's just bad folk kind of music, folk writing without sort of the charm to it. I think it's annoying, got a terrible melody to it. I can't imagine how this, better than Old King Kong, like a junkyard dog. I don't think Jim Croce or whatever his name is ever really encountered someone like this. I think it's just all stupid. So
Really speaking ill of the dead there. It's that one, I don't know. Distasteful, to say the least, Cramser.
do you want to talk about Ian Curtis and Joy Division for a little bit?
All right, my pick for worst of the year. I thought about going, given Donny Osmond the three-peat, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit here. My choice for the worst is a song called The Teddy Bear Song by Barbara Fairchild. This was a #1 country hit. It went to number 32 on the pop charts. Such a dumb song. It's all about how she wants or wishes that she was a teddy bear. The lyrics are, I wish I had button eyes and a red felt nose, a shaggy cotton skin, and just one set of clothes. And then there's it's a list.
Lists of things. Yes, this is why most popular country music is terrible.
But then as you go on, you see that the song, the reason she wants to be a teddy bear is so that she doesn't have the painful memory of like losing her lover. But why a teddy bear then? Why are we choosing to be a teddy bear? This is just a stupid song. I do not like it.
Joe, do you want to tell everyone what our favorite song of 1973 is?
Well, Ryan, I do. The best song and me and Cramser's favorite song is Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding from Elton John, from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, the first track. Part 1, Funeral for a Friend, was created and devised by John, thinking about what type of music he'd want played at his own funeral. And he picked a good one, because that's definitely what I want at my funeral too. Just bring that bad boy out. Bring Elton out to play me away. Incredible, just depth. There's incredible diversity in the performance. So, it starts off as this like big sweeping, classically inspired, big funeral march. And it's interesting because it's very like electronic based, like it's using synths and stuff. So it has this like weird sort of like futuristic and classical sounding part. And then it goes on for like 7 minutes, and then it just explodes into one of his best rockers, Love Lies Bleeding. We speak about Davy Johnstone all the time, and this is probably his best track. His guitar work is incredible on this. Elton sounds great. The lyrics are some of Bernie Taufin's best, and it's just a truly unique song. Part of the epicness of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is the fact that he does this and then never does anything like it, like ever again. So it's just amazing. I love Elton. It's got to be my #1 for 1973.
Yeah, it is officially my second favorite song of all time. It's got essentially everything I want in rock music. Tremendous synth parts. It's got several cool just piano parts and movements to it. I think the lyrics are incredible. There's a lot of passion. I mean, Joe nailed it. That guitar part though, man, oh my God, but Davy Johnstone is just so wiry and ferocious and cool. And even though it's kind of broken up in this long epic saga, it kind of still moves in a conventional pop kind of movement, just drawn out, has such a straight, like almost like a 3-act structure to it. It's just great. You get the prologue, you get the heart and the meat in the middle, and then it kind of reminds you of what everything was at the end, and then crashes and ends. My favorite Elton John song, my second favorite song of all time. I mean, we talk Funeral for a Friend. It's great.
All right. My song of the year is Band on the Run by Paul McCartney and Wings. You got Paul playing drums, bass, guitar, Denny Lane and Linda filling out the rest with some backing vocals, synth, some more guitar. It's thought to be about the other three Beatles parting with their longtime manager, which led to improved relationships between those three and McCartney. It's basically a 3-part medley, and there is so much cool stuff packed into the parts. Like there's interesting ear candy at every turn, from the guitars and the synths at the beginning, and then the great harmonies, and then you get into the second section, which has that really cool Moogie sounding synth and the hand claps. And then my favorite section is the last part where it's got the acoustic guitar and those cool like slide leads coming in. I just think it's awesome. It's just hooks and left turns, and so cool. I love it.
Well, it's going to win again. Jason picking the Beatles. He won in 72, which I disagree with. If that's the best song of 1972, then 72's got some problems. You can't have a David Bowie pen song beating out everything from Ziggy Stardust. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And this year, he's going to win with Paul McCartney. And that song's like a 9. But it's not. I mean, I have 100 songs I like better than that one. That's, again, come on, man. Paul McCartney's not God.
No, and just picturing that mofo playing drums, like screw that.
You guys are wrong. Sorry. Keep winning for a reason. I'm way ahead of you because the people know what's up.
It's far ahead, not way ahead.
I'm way far ahead.
Who cares, dude?
Crushing you.
I almost picked, because I knew Cramser was going to pick this one, and I was worried about Jason pulling one of these. I was going to pick something else that I thought would have a better chance of winning, but no, I couldn't betray Elton like that.
You got to be honest. You can't go for the wins. I take pride in knowing I never win. That means I'm an individual. I'm not suckling at the bosom of anyone that ever touched a Beatles album. Like, it's pathetic, really. So in 1981, Jason's going to have some obscure George Martin like song that never got released as the best song of the year. Some bullshit song, whatever.
Might have to, because 1981 sucks.
It's got moving pictures, dude. Come on. You think a song I just invented right now is better than anything on Moving Pictures? Dude, you're far out there. Not way out there. Far out there.
Any closing thoughts on 73, guys?
I loved it. And there's a ton of stuff. 73 has a bunch of songs that like charted in 74. So like we're getting in that like weird zone where like next year I might have a bunch of songs that came out in 73 but charted in 74. And the same with this year, like a bunch of like Carly Simon, You're So Vain charted this year. And like we keep running into these things, and I feel bad about like putting them in the next year. So I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible, but it might be tough. 74 though, another loaded year. Looking forward to it.
I also think 73 is kind of planting the seeds for some artists that'll win soon. Like you've got Queen's first record, Aerosmith's first record, Springsteen debuted, Big Star, I think debuted the year before, but they're kind of picking up. So there's like a little bit of a wind of change kind of coming a little bit. I believe ABBA debuted this year as well for Joe. That won't play in for me or Jason at all, probably. Billy Joel debuted this year. That's going to be a big worst song of the year contender for me coming up. He might win more than the Osmonds for me. No, probably not. But yeah, I think you're starting to see a little bit of a change by 73 come around.
Don't forget Leonard Skinner. I couldn't put Freebird on here. I wanted to, but.
Did you really want to?
No, not really.
Okay,
but I would have picked it to take out Jason's choice. It's better than Band on the Run.
No, that I don't agree with. So.
All right, everybody, let us know what your favorite songs of 1973 are. Let us know what you think of our picks. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. And check the description for links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and most importantly, our website. where you can go vote for which of our song of the year is your favorite. You only got 2 choices this year, but normally you would have 3. We also have playlists down there with all of the selections for you to check out if you're interested. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.